CNET is in the middle of a lot of controversy. In fact, their editor for 7 years, Sandoval, has quit after CBS forced them to take away a nomination for a Dish product that they had nominated for the Consumer Electronics Show. Now, the nomination was for the Best Of category, and the product that I'm referring to is the Dish Hopper with Sling. So the Dish Hopper with Sling is basically an HD DVR system that can allow you to automatically skip ads, and it sounds like a great product, so naturally CNET would nominate this product. However, because CBS, its parent company, is in the middle of litigation, they were forced to take that nomination away.
Now, it gets worse. So first of all, CBS hates any product that lets you skip the commercials.
Of course.
Because that's their bread and butter. That's how they make all their money. And second of all, it turns out that they had won. Dish had won the category. It wasn't just that it was nominated. They had already had internal deliberations and they had decided that it had won. Then CBS puts the pressure on them and they withdraw the win, etc. Right? And now there are journalists who work there who are resigning, saying, look, I don't begrudge anybody anything, but I'm a professional journalist and I do honest reporting. I don't want anybody to think otherwise, so I can't work under this situation. Now, everybody's outraged by this, but you got to understand something. If you think this doesn't happen in corporate media all the time, you're kidding yourself.
Of course it happens, but the reason why it's getting a lot of attention is because it's something that you can pinpoint. It's a perfect example of how corporate interests completely taint and poison journalism, which is why it's so important to remain independent when you really think about it.
If you're having an honest conversation with anyone that's worked in corporate media and corporate news, right, and you say to them, hey, has a story about one of your advertisers ever been killed or discouraged? 99 out of 100 will tell you that's definitely happened, okay? Now, think about how much that affects the news over a macro scale, right? So now in this case, CBS has a direct corporate interest against this product, but when GE ran NBC, did they have a corporate interest in telling MSNBC, which was part of the NBC network, hey, support the Iraq war? GE, military contractor, made a ton of money off the Iraq war, right? Mm-hmm. And remember at the time, MSNBC tilted conservative. This was before Keith Olbermann took it to become a progressive network, right? So they fired all the liberals, Phil Donahue, Ashley Banfield, etc. And so that's a well-known example. You've got this example, but there are a million examples you don't know that happens behind the scenes. So be careful with what you trust from the corporate media.
Definitely. I mean, and it's also the reason why you'll see ads for like BP, for instance. And I know that BP sells oil, but you'll see like some ads that don't really sell you anything. They're corporate ads that don't sell you anything. You can't go to a store and buy something, but you as a consumer are seeing this ad on CNN or MSNBC. What is it really about? It's because they're funding that station or that network to make sure that they don't run negative stories about them.
Let me give you two more quick examples. Archer Daniels Midland is a company that, again, sells nothing to consumers. But they gave about $1 million for a long time to Meet the Press and ABC's This Week. Now, why do they give $1 million a year when they don't even, and it just says at the end, now brought to you by Archer Daniels Midland, and that's it, right? It's because they want to make sure that they don't do any stories against Archer Daniels Midland. You give somebody $1 million, and they're not going to do that story. They got 100 other stories they can do, and they're not going to do that one. It's their way of controlling the press. Take that, multiply it by 100, that's what's happening all over the corporate press. And now the second example is the macro one, which is, look, TV makes a gigantic amount of money from all the super PACs, the outside money, the corporate money, the rich people's money going into politics. They buy television advertisements from that. So you think the television stations are going to tell you the real problem in politics is money in politics when that money goes to them? They're not going to tell you that. So that's how we all get duped. So this CNET example is a small example of a large cancer inside corporate media. So I'm glad it got exposed, and I'm glad people are mad about it, but understand it happens on a much larger scale, and it happens systematically.
Just one quick thing about Sandoval, which I mentioned, he is was the editor of CNET. He quit, and he quit not because he wants to start, beef with CBS or anything like that. He said, look, I want to be an honest journalist, okay? I've been with the company for 7 years, and it's risky to leave a company that you've worked for that long. But he's like, I want to be an honest journalist, and it's really good to know that there are reporters out there, there are writers and editors out there that want to stay true to what journalism is supposed to be about. So, major props to Greg Sandoval.